I have been feeling just a wee bit behind on my reading goals this year. So today I am challenging myself to read one book in one day. I've done it before, hoping I can do it again. The book I have chosen is The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. I have read three other of her books, and all of those books I have read in a single day. They're not long, they're very quick. By all means, the font is large and they're just very, very easy reading. So it is currently 8:15 a.m. I'm waiting for my breakfast to cook in the air fryer, and in the meantime, we're gonna get started on this and hopefully finish this book today and drag myself out of this reading slump. While 11-year-old Nora Davis was up in her bedroom doing homework, she had no idea her father was killing women in the basement. Until the day the police arrived at their front door. Decades later, Nora's father is spending his life behind bars, and Nora is a successful surgeon with a quiet, solitary existence. Nobody knows about her past, and she'll do anything to keep it that way. Then one of her young female patients is murdered, killed in the same unique, horrific manner that her father used to kill his victims. Somebody knows who Nora is. Somebody wants her to take the fall for the unthinkable crime, but she's not like her father. The police can't pin anything on her, and as long as they don't look in her basement. Dun dun. So, yeah, I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with Frida McFadden because her books are definitely a dopamine hit, as in I can read them quickly and, they're a fun little romp. I don't expect anything groundbreaking or too serious with her books, so we're just gonna dive in. It actually feels like fall, like the windows are fogged up. It's only 3 degrees out this morning, which is crazy. So, perfect, cozy time to read this. It is currently 9:50 and I'm just at the 50-page mark. Things are going well. As always, I have found with Frida McFadden books, maybe not with The Housemaid, I can't remember. And again, only read 3 of her books, but they usually oscillate between present day and past day. So that's always a little bit interesting to just kind of get more backstory. But yeah, it's reading exactly how I thought it would. I don't quite understand it. Like, it is very simple reading. The chapters are like 4 pages, so you get those like dopamine checkpoints, I like to call them, of just like breezing through. Like, that's one chapter, which is crazy. Some books have 100-page chapters, so we persist. It's going well. Any minute now it should be ramping up, because how many pages? It is literally like 306 pages, so let's keep going. I'm about 100 pages in. It is only 10:42 a.m. And I feel like we just got our first kind of what I would call our plot progression. I'm trying to make this completely spoiler free, other than what we know from the back of the book. But a thing has happened that is now like, and I mean, all thriller books, all mysteries are like, they're always gonna throw us a bone, right? That is incorrect, or is a misdirect, I should say, not incorrect, it's a misdirect. So I have given up on ever trying to get ahead of a mystery or a thriller, and I'm just along for the ride. Like, this is silly, goofy reading to me. This is vibes only, like potato chip. This isn't much substance. This is ice cream after dinner, in between like the heavier books that I'm reading, and I think that is fine, and that's what I need. And obviously, because it's October, this is doing good for me. But our first thing has happened where it's like, I'm thinking this is most likely a misdirect, which is fine. I'm not gonna try to figure it out. I probably could, because it is Frida McFadden and it is a little bit simple in my opinion. But that being said, we're doing good. Like I said, it's quarter to 11. I'm gonna try to get to the halfway mark, so 1:50 by noon. should be no problem. And then in the afternoon, I will read the second half of the book. All right, it's 12:15. I'm on page 182 to be exact. And I don't love it or hate it. I don't know what it is, but I have never been able to speed through a book the way I've been able to speed through a Freida McFadden book. I really don't understand this. Like a regular book, after 5 hours, I would probably only done like 100 pages. No, that's not accurate. But still, this is going so fast. And I'm not really a fast reader. I don't know. Some of it is really cringy too, and I'm trying to remember if I felt that way in her other book. I remember really liking The Housemaid. I mean, I think most people did. I have no idea where that falls in conjunction to something like The Housemaid, which I feel was just, yeah, predictable and not profound, but I do feel like it was a little bit more intelligent than this one. I'm feeling like it's just, I don't know. It's hard to complain when, I am getting those dopamine hits and I am reading it rather quickly, but I just feel like it's maybe trying too hard to be smart, and there isn't a lot going on, honestly. We've got just over 100 pages, like 130 pages left, so let's see if it kind of ramps up and gets out of there, but I am gonna have lunch first. It is 1:50 in the afternoon, and I have 53 pages left. I feel like this is the point where we really ought to be ramping up, but it feels like a very slow ramp. We're just... So obviously I feel like we have to have our climax, and then it has to be resolved. And one thing I've learned from Freida McFadden, and I'm not a huge thriller reader in general, okay? So don't come for me. My reading in the thriller genre is not extensive, but from what I have read, Freida McFadden and not Freida McFadden, I feel like a lot of conclusions are very like 2 pages and then maybe an epilogue if you're lucky. They come kind of fast. So that's kind of what I'm expecting here. But considering it's not even quite 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm already almost done this book, like we are just breezing past, and that is exactly what I needed, because I've currently been reading Dracula for my Halloween reading vlog, which is like 600 pages, and I've been at it for like over a week and I'm barely halfway through. So this is kind of the dopamine. I've said dopamine so many times in this video, so I apologize. Apparently it's my new favorite word, but this is exactly the kind of high I needed to like start and finish a book within 1 day. So regardless of whether it's good or not, it's gonna count towards my numbers, and it's gonna feel good to say I read a book in a day. I've reached chapter 45. Yes, there's that many chapters. Page 272. And I think we're about to be getting some reveals, so I will be like reading like this as to not get anything revealed. I honestly have no idea which way this is gonna go, and I think that's fine. I hope I'm not disappointed. We'll see together. Oh, that's kind of disappointing. Again, I guess there are still like 30 pages. Frida could pull a fast one on me, but that reveal was really disappointing. No, no. No. You can't just make up things for your finale. That's not how this works. That's not how good writing works. It's just too convenient, you know? It's just I wish I could tell you without spoiling this, but it's just, I was right about the format at least. It ended and immediately there's an epilogue. So our big reveal happened and it wrapped up super, super quick. It was also a terrible, not satisfying ending, but let us finish. Let us finish with the epilogue 1 year later, as one does. Okay, there was your very classic 1 year later epilogue, 2 pages long, and now we have 2 pages from the perspective of the bad guy, if you will. The person who did the crime of the locked door. It just never ends, so let's see. Bless you. Y'all hear my cat sneeze? I mean, I read a book today. That's what I set out to do. That is what I set out to do. Again, I don't expect much from a Frida McFadden book other than, wait for it, guess what I'm gonna say? That dopamine hit, correct. And I do feel like just having read an entire book in a day, I achieved that. But of the 3 books I've read of hers, now 4, this was not good. This was not good. I did not care for it, but I'm probably done. Am I done? I want to say like I'm done my Frida McFadden journey. It's not like I'm a fan. I tend to order a lot of books from Book Outlet, which is where you can get really, really cheap books. And in order to like hit that free shipping, if there's a Frida McFadden book, I'll usually snag it because their books are like $5. So it's not like I'm missing it. I'm like losing a lot of money if I don't like the book. That is literally has been the only reason I've ever picked up a Frida McFadden book, was to get free shipping on Book Outlet. I gotta be honest. So this makes me like not really want to read another one, but then again, $5 and I can read a book in a day. So it's not the end of the world. You know what? I'm gonna count it towards my numbers, and I feel good about that. So thank you guys for watching. Oh, by the way, it is not even 3 p.m. It is 2:53. Can you see that? It's 2:53 p.m. So I started at 8:15. Wow, so it has been almost 7 hours. But you know what? Regardless, Frida McFadden and like 200-page books are like the only books that I can read in a day. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more reading vlogs, you can click over here. For book suggestions, you can click over here. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!